So, Naked Butt Sundays, that's what we got going on today on the Sharknose. I decided that it was a bit agonizing, but I think what I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm gonna go ahead and get the car painted. And you're probably looking at the car thinking, well, it doesn't need any paint, it looks really good, and it, for the most part, it does. But the longer I look at it, the more I realize it actually does need some paint. And specifically, if you look at some areas right here, you can see the paint is lifting. It actually looks like the car might have been hit in the back here, and it looks like there's maybe a little bit of Bondo lifting there, and there's a bit of a cavity right there behind the right taillight. And a little bit of lifting here on the left side, so that has me a bit concerned. Beyond that, there's a few spots. There's a little bit of rust here, which it's not terrible, and it's certainly easy to repair. And it's just actually isolated to this one section here that's about just over 12 inches long. And I have a new trunk seal that I bought from BMW, so I'll put that in after it's painted. And then over here in the corner, looks like some kind of janky repair was done. I don't know what's going on there, and it looks like there's cracking here as well, so that needs to all be ground down and try to figure out what's happening there. And I have a great body and paint guy, and I took the car to him and we went through everything in detail, so he's gonna get ready to squeeze me in a couple of weeks, and the car will be at the shop there for 2 weeks getting painted. There's some other things too, a little bit of surface rust here on the trunk lid, nothing major, but the corner here of the trunk, the paint is cracking. Again, stuff that you don't see, until you have the car close up and you start working on it more and more. So that's just the back, and then there's a little bit of a break in the paint. It's tough to see maybe with the GoPro, but right here, just above the pinstripe, there's a crack here, and it looks like it's just a little bit of rust coming through there. So that's all going to be ground down, and then the whole thing painted. There's some bubbling here, as you can see that there, but I don't think it's rust. I actually think it's just the prep on the surface, and over time it's just lifted the paint. I don't think there's any rust there. Trust me, I've had rusty cars, and I can smell rust when I see it. So it's just really how they're prepped around that mirror. This is a really tough window to prep if you don't pull the actual trim and the frame. I'm still trying to figure out with my body and paint guy how we're gonna do that, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, and we want to make sure that it's properly done. So that's that. There's some clear that's peeling up here that maybe you can see. Sunroof panel, it needs to be painted. So again, it's just like little stuff like that. I love the color of the car, so I'm of course going to keep it. There's a little bit of bubbling there too. So anyway, with all that to say, I'm gonna get the car in, get it painted, and I thought, I've never really liked the big US crash bumpers, and been aggressively, I guess you can say, searching for sort of Euro bumpers. I found a front and rear set from a guy who owns a bunch of E24s in the Philadelphia area in Pennsylvania. He and I have talked quite a bit, and I ended up buying a set of 1979 Euro bumpers. And so I said, well, let me take my big US diving board bumpers off the car and get it ready for the Euro conversion. And I'm actually going to fit those bumpers here at home, make sure they fit perfectly before I take the car to my body and paint guy. Removing the rear bumper on this car was actually a bit more involved than I thought it would be, and I'll just walk you through it real quickly. You can see I took off the badge too there. It was getting really weathered. Easy to pop out with the plastic Harbor Freight tools, so it doesn't damage the paint. So to remove the bumper, I'll just walk this through with you guys. It's a 22 millimeter bolt. There's 3 of these guys in the trunk. One's on the left end, and that hole, the right end on that hole right there. That one was the trickiest, and I ended up having to pry from the side here with a screwdriver, pry it up as I was backing it out. So there's one to the right. Under this rubber cap here, there's another one right there. So that has to come out. And these are threaded all the way through the chassis of the car, guys. And then the left one is over here. You can see right there, that's the left one. Of course, to get to all these 3 big bolts, you got to remove the trunk carpet, the back panel here, the trim piece, the side pieces that go here. That's where the first aid kit sits, and then this little piece here that covers. This is for the power locks. This is the gas filler, and there's your power antenna back here. So that all has to come out. That was really simple in my car, in this car, to pull out. So not bad there. So once you got those 3 guys out, you're not even close to being done. After that, you have to remove the 6 10 millimeter nuts that are on the inside. You can see the holes there. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. And then the other 3 you get from beneath the car, and you can see the holes are 1, 4, 5, and 6. So you get those from underneath the car. And that pops out these guys over here. Now the left side is easy. The right side's a bit more difficult because you have to work around the electronic module for the power locks, and then also the power antenna, which is over here. I actually removed this, which was easy. It's just 2 10 millimeter self tappers, and there's actually also a 10 millimeter nut right there, which was missing. I just put it back in. It was missing on my car, so obviously somebody's been in here. I forgot to put it back in. I pulled this entire box out. There was enough slack in the harness to pull it out, and I was able to reach my hand back in there with a open-ended wrench to get the those 10 millimeter nuts off. And then this one was tricky. The last one, of course, the last one's always tricky. I actually had to go back to my old days of being a gymnast and a contortionist and snake my hand in around this with an open-ended wrench. I was able to do it, but it was very slow going. And because there was a little bit of rust on the threads of the fastener, it took a long time because it was just kind of fouling. So it took longer, and it was 105 degrees here yesterday in Houston. So I was pretty sweaty by the time I was done. But anyway, keep at it. That will come loose, and then that right side panel will come out. After that, there's actually 4 10 millimeter little bolts that hold the shocks into the chassis, and you can see the holes right here. There's one here, there's 1, 2, 3 here, and another one on the 4 right there. So those have to come out. And after that, what else? I removed, just for simplicity, these on either side. There's 2 self tappers here. You got to remove those guys. And after that, it should just come straight out. So it's a bit heavy, so be prepared for the weight as you're pulling it towards you. And just to give you an idea how much all this US crash bumper stuff weighs, here's my bathroom scale, and what does that say? It looks like it's right at about 42 pounds. So 42 pounds. So we'll see what the Euro bumper weighs in at. The Euro bumper that I'm getting is the early 6 series, which means it just basically covers this piece right here. And I'm not sure what's going to happen with this lip here. Hopefully I can retain it. And it sits right up against it. I'm not sure, we'll see, but I know the early 6 Series, it doesn't have this lip. So we'll see how it fits, but there is going to be some fabrication to actually mate the bumper brackets from the Euro. That it's a 1979 635. So from that 79 635 to this car, and I've actually sketched up some designs based on the pictures that the seller from PA sent me. I think I have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to do in terms of fabricating some adapters, if you will, or new brackets between the chassis here, the square opening, and those Euro bumpers. Now, on the Euro bumper, I don't think this one is used. I think it's just a left and right side bracket. I don't think there's a center bracket. So, and then on the side piece here, I may go ahead and just weld up these 6 holes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I might just go ahead and weld that up. And then on the 79 Euro bumpers I bought, there's just a trim